awesome, Eric.
You're on the air then. That's funny.
Bring
This is actually
it on!
this is the second time this happened today. This never happened to me
Dude,
before. Now it's twice today.
I'm just kind of stoked.
Mm-hmm.
I really am, because it took me 5 years to write my first novel.
Oh,
and then another 5 years because I built it up as a trilogy, and it was 5 years to the month that yesterday I finished all the revisions, the edits, and it's like, okay, cool, my story's out there, so I get to do that.
Congratulations.
But what's amazing about it and what's blown my mind is that hell, that first time when I was in 2012 and I was in Sedona, and I was living in friggin' Sedona, Arizona, man. And I would wake up every day and I would go off to my job and I would look and go, I live here. This is really cool. The place is like no place on earth if you've never been there. But every day, I really did for the whole year in 2012. And I'm waiting for like transformation shit coming down, you know, because everybody was talking 2012, man. That was when the shit was going to happen.
Yep.
And I'm in Sedona, Arizona at the kickoff of 2012. Nothing fucking happened, man. But I wrote my novel, and I was in the greatest surrounding on earth, and it was a really cool place to be.
Well, I saw you had
all the imaginations, though. The fun part of that, though, is that year in 2012, everything I wrote in my novel, and it's fantasy. It's absolute fantasy. But if somebody that is an experiencer on the element of the SSP, they look at my book and go, okay, this is the precursor to what happens before you go in. I was leading up to that shit, and I tapped into elements. Draco, just alluding to a dragon. Fuck yeah, dragon. Gotta have dragon. It's a cool story if you got dragons. But the way I did and what I did and where things have come back and what people have talked about and the drug, Halcyon itself, that Gerloff talked about, to go to another place.
Would it
so it's like, okay, so
would it be right
to say, my imagination? Is it my imagination, or was it my experiences?
Oh, totally understood. But now, either way, Dale, would it be fair to say that the book is like, I guess, analogous? Like, would it be fictional? Like World War II happened.
Book 2,
right? You know what I'm saying? Like World War II actually occurred. So
the way it stands, honest to God, book 1, book 2 are clean elements of my imagination without exposure of knowledge of the SSP. Book 3, however, is going to be totally fucked up by what I've learned and what my exposure has been with these guys and with these people that are in this element.
But think of it this way, right? If there was an author and they were writing a fictitious novel about World War II, but
it is a fictitious.
Oh, but if you're still dealing with something that's really happening in a way, though, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like if you were writing a fictitious novel about World War II, but you're still talking about things that really happened. So yes, there's a line of fiction, but there's also a line of reality. That's what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you can still make up stories about things that really happened, call them fiction. They can still be based in a vernacular of truth. You know,
that's the hard part of even trying to wrap my brain around the possibilities of the whole element of the SSP.
Oh, of course, right. It's such a broad concept to have to consider.
I'm a smart guy. I was a reporter. I was a copy guy. Just like, I made money and shit. But hey, I have a really cool shirt on.
That is a nice one. I was just noticing it. At first, I was thinking it was a NASCAR shirt, and then I'm like, that's not a NASCAR shirt.
No, man,
That's even cooler.
That's the coolest shirt on the planet. My ex-wife bought that for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still really proud of this shirt.
Nice.
Because it's a fucking Millennium Falcon, dude. All that concept of trying to, the hardest part for me, Eric, or Derek rather, was trying to put it into the realm of reality, that it's actually real, that the time dreamed about was actually something that was experienced. Mm-hmm. and to come into a realm where you're going, fuck, this really happened. I was there. I did this shit. I have these memories that are memories I should not have.
I could appreciate that.
And the foundational element to get me into the place. 2 weeks ago, my sixth grade teacher, friend Nelson, died. Mm-hmm. She was the one that, whenever I first got into the special testing, and it was a really cool thing to have a connection with I'm 50 years old, and to be able to talk to my sixth grade teacher. Mm-hmm. And she transferred over to the high school while I was there at Hahn, Germany. Mm-hmm. And she became a instructor on the junior high level. But she was my advisor my senior year as student body president. Mm-hmm. So I had this chick from sixth grade, and then my senior year, and she just died 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. It's really sad. But she made me a good editor and made me a good writer and made me who I am, and that I'm grateful for her presence. And
that's awesome.
I wish her good journey, you know. Mm-hmm. But when I asked her about the tag stuff, and we'd gone on a cruise, all these people from high school, everybody went to Hahn, you know. It was open through the Cold War, and then it was done. So when we did a reunion cruise, such a small school, we said, hey, everyone fucking Hahn, we're going on a boat, come out with us. And we had a blast, you know. And it was spanning the entire element, and it is a place that has started and has finished and has closed. And I was there, and I had some of the most exceptional instructors and teachers in my life, in high school, mm-hmm. in elementary school. Some of my best friendships now. Mm-hmm. The principal, my senior year, mm-hmm. fucker, still with me. Mm-hmm. This dude got out of a 944 Porsche with a bespoke Boston badass suit. The son of a bitch was hot and classy as hell, and he's been a friend ever since. Mm-hmm. He was sitting there smoking a cigarette my senior year in his office, smoking a cigarette and looking at me going, Dodge Command wants to take out the smoking area, so how do you want to approach it? As he's smoking a fucking cigarette. That's the cool I've learned, damn it. I've learned cool, my friend.
Totally understand.
I have, Eric. You went to some high end schools in Long Island, didn't you?
I did actually get I guess what I would have to look in hindsight was an exceptional education. I had access to very higher learning. My grammar school, I would say, was doing really good things when it came to what we'd call standard education and public school stuff. It's the other stuff that I throw.
Where do you and I sit on the age around me being born in '70?
I would think I would imagine you and I had very similar education. I mean, I went to basically
When were you
13
born?
years. I went to 13 years of what would have been a very strict Catholic school, and the standard of education was expected to be
I
high
play
level.
dominoes better than you play dominoes.
Yeah. Yep. All the above. Yeah, all the mess. I was an
play
altar boy,
dominoes
you know. I was like
better than you play
I was
dominoes.
the head altar boy, you know. I know all the altar boy jokes. You know. But it is what it is. I mean, all the horror stories that people have heard, they're true and the tip of the iceberg, and it is what it is. I had exposure to the talented and gifted program as well. I'd be very interested to know what your experiences were, but I mean, it's something
We've
that I
talked
think
about this
more
before,
people.
and I like the fact that this is actually being recorded now. And it's like, okay, cool. Other people can look at this, because what I remember,
Mhm.
what my memory is in the gifted and talented program, we would sometimes we just be set aside
Mhm.
in the classroom, and there was four of us. There's four of us kids. David King, still living now, and he's like 400 fucking pounds. Some bitches big, big as fuck. But he was smart. But he was a dick too in elementary school. Steve Castle, who is now the head professor at BYU for chemistry. That was my counterpart in elementary school. And Terry Frederick, who I just met last weekend, 26-year career cop. Ended up his career in a shooting situation, which is a good shoot. He was cool. He was right. Fucker was a bad guy. Needed to be shot. Fucker needed to be shot. But Terry gets stuck in that element of fight or flight. He stayed in the fight or flight element and couldn't get back down to regular. It's been hard for him. He's my buddy. But I was up there in the woods with him last couple of days. It was fucking awesome.
That is nice to disconnect like that.
We were knocking down trees and acting like lumberjacks and shit, like we knew what the fuck we were doing. It was fun. He's 30 acres, man. Beautiful country. Beautiful.
Wow, that's a lot of land you guys cleared in a weekend, huh? 30 acres?
Oh, we didn't
I'm just kidding.
We knocked down one tree.
I'm just kidding.
And some really badass strap. Because we were trying to save a shed, because we knew we were going to fucking take out the shack. It's like, at least on those straps, and I can understand this element. So we did that. We had tractors, we had toys. It was fun as hell. It was awesome. It was awesome.
That's great.
It was. We brought the big fucking tree down where we wanted it to go.
I think humans as individuals have disconnected from that level of satisfaction in a day to accomplish things like that with your hands, to overcome a challenge. Just simply put, just to have something new laid at your feet and you have to overcome is something that people don't do on a day-to-day basis like we used to.
I don't know.
It's very enriching.
I think there's a delight in everything that everybody does in what they perform. And just
I think there can be, but I think there like you said, there always will be, but there's always going to be levels.
I'm a fucking optimist. I really am.
That's because you're an author.
I know there's a lot of shit out there. I absolutely do. And when I look at the system, when I look at the possibility of acknowledging that the goddamn SSP element is true, and they're taking our consciousness and putting us back. And whenever you have somebody that meets you and says, you know what, you're an old fucking soul. they know it because they're like, my God, you've done this. You've been a slave
Mm-hmm. There's
for
some
100 fucking years. And
there's some folks you see that their wisdom is way beyond their years. I mean, we've
where
all seen folks
where
like that.
what are the cues? What are the inklings? What are the things that actually show the reality of that? Other than the lasting psychological elements that I think,
Mm-hmm.
or actually, those are the ones that are saying, "Boom! This is really real."
Dale, how would you list it? I'd be interested because you're a wordsmith and you're paying attention to this topic. Like, if you were to say, like, what are the signs and symbols? You know, if you were to assess a crowd, if we were to be sitting in a bar next to each other right now, looking through the room and trying to say, you know what, who in this room do you think has been impacted by the SSP and why? What would be the signs, the mannerisms, the eccentricities that would be the triggers or signals for you?
That's a good question.
I wonder
Really
things
good
like
question.
that. I wonder things like that because
And,
I feel like when we have answers for that, we'll be able to help people.
how much do you think when you talk to some people and you look at certain elements, you talk to Tony Rodriguez,
Mm-hmm.
you talk to Will Glover.
Is that music coming from by you?
It is. Sorry.
If you could lower that, would be awesome.
Boom. Done.
No worries.
Sorry.
Thank you, sir. No worries. I thought it was a car passing at first.
I think that all of us, anybody that even thinks they had a propensity or possibility of even participating in something like this, you have your sense, you have your knowledge, you've got this tank of, okay, now after I've seen what has been laid out and what's been spoken about, that perhaps maybe I've got this, and I remember that one memory, or I've got this one aspect, and or something from when I was really young that points to the fact that I've done this again and again and again. There's no way to put a thumbprint on it and to gauge anybody that's even thought about the viabilities of what that is, until you sit down, get drunk, smoke a bowl.
You know what I think about?
And look at the fire and go, you know what? I've seen this sky in a different light. I've seen it from a different perspective. And it wasn't a dream. To be able to share that element with somebody else that goes, fuck, I was there. This is not a dream. That's the bizarre elements, man. That's the bizarre elements, and it defies comprehension as we know it now. You cannot equate it to modern psychology because it defies all logic. But
modern psychology, I don't even know the right word.
In Laughlin, Nevada, and I looked at his ass, and I'd known that guy 1,000 years. I'd known him 1,000 years. I shit you not. I sat down at that bar in Laughlin. I ordered a scotch and a beer. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and it was the most convicting thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I said, and I got him too. And all he did was sit back to playing this video poker. But it was a profound element. And there was unspoken things within that, just, I see you.
There's energies to things that we don't understand at all. It's just, that's life. you know, we are not that inclined yet to have an understanding from our level of observation these things that our supposed, you know, leading class scientists and intellects are telling us isn't so. So it makes it very challenging to be an adherent to a possibility that's present when there's others that are telling you it can't be. And I'm
What
a firm
was,
believer there's more energy to things than we're being told.
what do you think for yourself?
Hmm.
What was the bumps? What was the elements that talked about Montauk, that talked about the higher level training that you and I didn't go through that. I didn't go to Montauk. I was in fucking Germany.
Hmm.
I just remember doing the friggin' tag group classes, and one of them, I remember chick had like an empty oats can and shit, and we're drumming and shit. And that was her day. It was like, wow, are you really playing this? And we're like, toon, 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 on this fucking empty can. And that was the tag class. And I was with Anthony Saeed. I remember that big time. It was like,
How
you're
many
kind of
times
missing your
did you go to
country.
tag for many years?
It was primarily sixth grade.
Okay, so
And
just
sixth grade was the only. But here's the catch too.
mhm,
At the beginning of it, I was with these four other people,
mhm,
and we would go off to our classes, and then we would separate.
mhm.
And I really don't remember a lot of the details of what we did. When
That's the
when you
challenging thing
talk
too.
about the cards and stuff, I
Mhm,
remember playing that, and I remember doing that element.
mhm.
And I remember the shapes and stuff, and then doing all the placements. And I remember being part of that. That's a really big part of that. But
Totally
we were
understood.
all separate,
The
and we would
point of
all
what I
go
was trying
back.
to get at would just be for the volume of attendances that you had there. It's amazing the few recollections that you have, which to me is part of the program. It's like they don't
The
want you
part of it
remembering
is,
everything. It's the
I
weirdest thing.
remember so much being a part of the program,
Mhm.
but I don't remember the gist of the program.
Details are aside, like in a different compartment of
They're
memory.
harder to ascertain, to see.
Mhm,
I can remember dutifully
mhm,
leaving my sixth grade classroom at Hahn Air Force Base, West Germany,
mhm,
walking out the door, and I can see the corridor. I can visualize the place where we were in the elementary school.
mhm,
And there was a great big giant concrete steps that you would go down. And I remember walking down those, and you'd walk out those to the element. There's another door, and it was a grand area. That was where the recess area was. And you walked across that, and you go into the main school administration building. And there, I would go to the office, and I would go see Miss Cindy Breedlove. And Cindy Breedlove was the counselor that I had my entire years in elementary school. Pretty one, beautiful, most beautiful woman in the world.
mhm.
Still, the, without a doubt. Old as shit now, maybe dead. But I tell you what, she was so beautiful and she was so cool. And I would go into her office, and sometimes it was me, and sometimes it was three other tag kids. There were four of us tag kids in Mrs. Nelson's class.
Mhm.
She just died last week, Mrs. Nelson, my sixth grade teacher.
Mhm.
And I had, with the advent of Facebook, I'd reached out and talked to her and stuff, and with the tag stuff, she says, Dale, she says, I just don't remember. She didn't. Hell, she's 80 some odd years old.
Oh,
Shit.
totally understood.
And but it pissed me off. I was like, wait a minute, there was four of us, and we always did that element. And by the end of sixth grade, though, I was no longer in the group.
Mm-hmm.
The three were still going off doing their thing, and I had been shut off.
Mm-hmm.
I was done. And I remember feeling like I was kind of fucked. I was like, oh, wow, I'm not as smart, or I'm not as right, or I didn't have the ability. But it was that element.
Or maybe you
That
just weren't as obedient. Stuff like that would matter too.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm totally just speculating.
Serving in the Corps and serving in the Air Force, I'm still a subservient motherfucker, but I'm still.
Well, you keep going to boot camp long enough, they'll teach you to be obedient for sure.
One time through Marine Corps boot camp, that's all you need, brother.
Here you go. Yep.
That was.
If you're not doing good at it, they'll keep letting you start all over until you get better at it.
Great training. I'm proud as hell. Hell yeah. Hoorah.
Nice.
Jarhead Marine, and I'm proud as hell that I became a Marine. But I still think I was driven in a lot of ways to do that, to actually become a Marine. I really think I was driven to become a Marine.
I had a very short-lived, meaningless military interaction, but I still know quality folks and how they function in their organizations. And I appreciate veterans. I run into them mostly in the civilian world. And the idea is that they're always helpful. You know, whenever there's a catastrophe, you can pretty much count on the veterans on scene to get involved. You know, and you can kind of almost
on aspect of like, okay, pick up this shit, move it this way.
Right. If there's a car wreck and I'm in the middle of helping out and I know you pull up, I know you're going to give me a hand. I'm going to be like, listen, come here. I see you got your USMC tattoo on. So come here, Marine. We need help. And you would help.
Right.
You know, it is what it is.
And the guy would be able to do just that because of what he's been trained to do.
Right. That's what I like about that's what I do enjoy about this
element. And it also speaks to me. I'm doing 2 editing jobs right now.
Mm-hmm.
One for Will Glover, who's an SSP experiencer that and another for Tony Rodriguez.
Oh, awesome.
And his account. And trying to work out his entire element of where it goes and what goes on. To me, those 2 guys are 2 of the most compelling elements of a testimony about the reality of this weird fucking shit, man. And they are 2 very highly credible, and I'm proud to be a part of even helping shape their works.
Tony's a great guy. I enjoy talking with Tony.
Tony is the absolute truth of the absolute fear of what the hell this is, and it plagues me to no end. In acknowledging the truth of what I think of what his testimony is, that lends to a real harsh reality of the bastards that are controlling this, you know?
Yep.
That's a bother to me. You can see me walking because I'm going to go take a leak.
I could try to pull up some other theme music or something in the background for you. There you go. You can. Ladies and gentlemen,
I like the concept because I've looked at it, and since I've known you too, and since I've met you, honestly, since the beginning, I think we both looked at this phenomenon in the same way, with a wary eye, and like, okay, show me. Here's my Missouri aspect of show me, motherfucker. Show me what the truth is. But why do I remember these things? Why do I remember things that are not part of what I grew up with? Why is the reality of the possibility of me having been in space an actuality? That's a huge consideration, and I think you looked at the question well. I do, man. I do, Eric. I absolutely think that you have looked at it and said, okay, here's this, here's the proof, here's who's done what, here's done this, but yet, okay, here's what I have. And I don't know. I like your take on it, my friend.
In a way, I almost feel like I go back to like an old school Occam's razor on it, where it's like I yield that there's a problem. There's this SSP situation. But I look at I need to. I mean, I'm a tradesman, so when I troubleshoot, I have to honestly understand that anything can be wrong with the boiler. When I walk into the boiler room and the boiler's not firing, anything can be wrong with it. So I have to assess every possibility and look at each possibility and then, all right, nope, that's not it. And I can slice that one off. That's what the razor.
Are you that skilled? Are you that skilled? Or are you just a plumber? You're supposed to be chasing the fucking turd line, motherfucker. You're not supposed to be looking at the boiler itself.
What I am is that determined, because it doesn't matter the problem. The process of logic can still be applied, of looking at every possibility, giving it an honest assessment, and then you can simply say, if it's not possible that this has anything to do with it, that's when the razor comes in and you cut that off. And you keep cutting off things that are assessed as possibilities, and when they're no longer possible, you cut them off, and whatever remains has to be what is. So I'm just going through the process. I believe there's an issue with our humanity being lied to and bigger problems being out there.
Do you think that you're a participant of a secret space program? Do you think that your consciousness was taken and used elsewhere, and that for a time you were somewhere else and then brought back to where you are?
The second question I would answer yes to rapidly. The first one I would say, what's your definition of the secret space program? Because this is where we're getting in like contemporary times. Everyone's getting wordy-gurdy on what means what.
I kind of despise the moniker, but I think it's the only mollifying name that actually justifies what it is.
The only thing I could assume from my direct firsthand experience at this stage of the game that might blow some people's minds is that I'm keenly aware that my consciousness has higher value than anybody wants to admit to collectively. And that there are times in my past that I would say that other people who were aware of this would take advantage of my youthful naivete.
Youthful naivety, bullshit. You're one of the smartest guys on the fucking planet.
No, but I'm saying when I was a little kid. I mean, when I was a little, it's not right. I'll tell you right now, Dale. I don't feel like I've gotten smarter a day in my entire life. I feel like I've known the exact same crap. So to be like, I hear what you're saying. Like when you say you're smart. Well, you know what? I guess I was smart 30 years ago when I was saying this stuff, but no one was listening.
I've learned some things. I kid you not. It's 50 years old now. And as a guy that's a waiter for a lot of time, I read people really well. And I shit you not. There is a lot I've learned in 50 years. There's a fucking lot I've learned in 50 years about people and about mindsets.
That's true.
And when we look at this possibility, I write fiction. That's what I do for a living. I'm a goddamn writer. I write science fiction, and yet the entire tale of what I wrote is wrapped up in the mystery of the SSP. And that is the biggest reason that brings me back into looking at this, going, okay, cool. What do we got? What do we see? What do we know? What can we do? What the fuck can we do?
I just kind of come in from the angle of knowing the path that I've walked and assessing it for its peculiarities and then respecting, well, there must be other people out there
You're
that have walked similarly peculiar paths or even more peculiar, and I would just like to talk with them and find out what their
within
peculiar path was.
within your own level of recall,
Mm-hmm.
and you haven't shared a lot of that with me. You really haven't,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's kind of cool, actually, because I didn't share my own recall with you.
Mm-hmm.
The the biggest memories for me that aren't real, that I know come from an experience that my soul has been,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest that come to my mind always are an earth view.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a perception. That's the biggest thing that isn't real,
Mm-hmm.
that I question, and that I see, and that I know. And it makes me ponder the reality. When I'd gone through my own experiences of writing my novel and living in Sedona, I really thought that was my entire absolute creation. Every Ringo, do it, fucker. Just lay down, man. Lay down. When I when I felt those elements, and I started seeing testimony from people, talking to supposed experiencers about what they knew, and looking at Will Glover, Tony, they're not fucking lying, man. They're not lying.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't, I honest to God, I really can't equate something directly associated with what they're talking about. I really can't. I
Mm-hmm.
can't. I wish the fuck I could. That'd be as easy as
Yeah, I mean,
that.
I wish all of this was not true. I mean, the more I look into the things and I see the connections, the more I do believe that it is true, but the more I wish I was wrong. I mean, it's a shit show of what's going on to
But
children.
it's coming into you more as a dawning reality of absolute truth then, and just a resounding element of some shit that has to be dealt with.
I don't know that I would make a distinction between the two. I think they go together. I mean, once you have an understanding of something, you also have a responsibility to that knowledge.
I'm I still wonder, man.
Mhm. I mean, that's I do
I
what I do
really
because
that
I've come to the conclusion that I have an association to the problem. So, with that being
the
said, I feel like
hardest
I have a
the hardest
responsibility to the resolution.
the hardest thought for me
Hmm.
to posit is that this is true.
Hmm.
My soul is being used as a slave on a regular basis, has been
Hmm.
for a long fucking time. And I don't know what the fuck I can do about changing that.
Hmm. I had somebody explain it to me in a way that made it.
That's the fear I sit with now, and the implications of, like, okay, this is the game. They like the stories. They like to see that. That's what the immortals want. I, dude, I write science fiction, so I have a big fucking mind.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, I'm thinking, okay, so this is the immortal game. This is what we're doing.
Hmm.
But we're still living. We're still breathing. That's the story. That's the vibrance. That's the feed. That's the
Somebody put
to
some info.
whatever to whatever the immortals that are watching do.
Someone put some info in front of me the other day.
There's no fucking way. You know as well as I do. We're not fucking done if this is done. If I went down to the dock today and was like, fuck this, grabbed the rope, hung my neck, and said bye-bye, this is not the end.
That is correct.
We know better than that. We know better than that.
I also know even better than that. I also know that you'd get penalized for taking yourself out of the game too soon in the grand scheme of reality. Of the real reality. You take yourself out of this game too soon before you are supposed to play your true hand, and you will get penalized on a higher level.
Why don't they tell us the rules of the game, man?
That's the whole thing, is we're being lied to. That's the whole thing, is we're being misinformed so that you can't win. You're being played like a pawn. Just like you said, your soul is being used. First and foremost, we're being lied to that this is our material self and this is all there is. They're ignoring your energetic aspect. What they're also not telling you is that in the reality around us, by whatever definition you want to use, call them energy animals. Some people would call them demons. Some people would call them all kinds of things through antiquity. But there's another aspect of our world that's energetic, and it has beings in it. Just like we're in a material world and we're material beings, there's an energetic world and there's energetic beings. We are a hybrid. We have an energy aspect and a material aspect. So with that being said, there are energetic animals that are eating our energetic asses, and there are human hybrid people within ourselves that are more than happy to sell us to them, like farmers.
I see the progress.
Farmers. It's just simply that. It's just a bigger farm that's more complex with different animals and farmers and species than you've been allowed to know. Do you think the sheep on the farm up the road from you is well informed to the residence that he resides in, or do you think his perspective might be off?
Informed or informed? I like
informed,
it.
Yeah.
Informed or informed.
That's a nice Freudian slip there. Be informed or get informed.
Should he be preserved, he would be seeking the informed community and not the informed. But perhaps both would be light for him, my friend.
Yes, you can be informed, you can be informed, you can be infirmed.
What are we gonna call this friggin' when he posts this shit on YouTube? It's like, okay,
oh my God.
Just
happy hour with Dale. I mean that works for me. I mean, I could
I was like, okay, cool. This is not a really organized interview.
No,
I'm really wanting to. I'm wanting to set up my own little program at home and start doing one-on-one interviews. And talk about a lot of this stuff. And I have the platform. Well, man, what do you think, bro? What do you think?
I think I do well. I think you're preaching to the choir at this point. This is why I just put my website up, so that I can share.
Fuck you, man. Screw you.
There's no censors. I'll be your editor. That'd be
You're
fun.
going down, motherfucker.
Just send me whatever you want. I'll throw it up on the site right now. I can make a post and just say this was sent in by contributor Dale Triplett.
I want to know the. Actually, I really could tap into your knowledge base. We'll do this later, not on this video. But hey,
whenever you're ready,
it could be informative for all the people. It's like, okay, how do I tap into the individual broadcast elements? It's like, okay, what do I use? Recording, just the fundamental aspects of even recording the.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to learn there.
Elements. There's a lot to know, man. So.
Yeah, I've been jumping through the hoops.
But we will not let the people know that are looking. They're like, oh damn!
Oh no, this is so much fun.
It was there.
I like sharing info, and I actually like the idea of other people picking up this gear as well, because it actually makes them integrate into the website in the blink of an eye. It would be like me having a broadcast television studio channel, and you can chime in with your show whenever you want.
Okay, I won't be a dick now. You can break in. if you can figure this out, you're with us. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
But I'm in the weirdest fucking mood.
We could do deep dives with Dale.
I'm on that six. No, dude, man, 5 years it took me to finish my fucking book, and I felt it was ready to go. Boom, put it in print. Bam, and I made that call yesterday. It's good, man.
Nice, dude. It feels good to pull the trigger.
Fucking thing. Did you read? You didn't read my first novel, did you?
I have not. I have not seriously. I have not seriously read.
Asshole.
No, it's, dude. I'm a horse of a different color. I mean, reading was never my thing until I was having an awakening event, and then I started reading like a lunatic and crazy stuff. Like, I mean, like seriously, like from Einstein's relativity to, you know, Socrates, you name, like the history of pi, the mathematical formula. I wasn't reading fiction. I was reading like just stuff about ancient wisdom and stuff like that. So fiction was never my cup of tea.
I saw your pursuit, and I've watched your videos on YouTube.
But now I don't even read. So that was only up until 2010. When I went to the South Pole, I basically went there with a batch of books, and I read them forwards and backwards a few times while I was there, of course. And they had a great library. So while I was there, I was reading everything that I had access to, which was amazing because they have a bookcase at the South Pole Station. The books in that bookcase, that's the only place they exist in the world. Awesome bookcase. But once I left there, I haven't really read again. I have all my books. Well, most. A lot of them got stolen.
Go back to fiction. Go back, read something that makes you think about life. And then, boom, then all this stuff makes a little bit more sense. That's the fun part.
There's a few.
That's just me. That's me as the fiction writer bragging because I just finished.
There's a few fiction books that I have that you're going to know.
It should have been 3 months, dude. 3 months. I should have had that fucking book done.
Jonathan Livingston Seagull, you know that one?
Yeah,
that's a fiction book that I think everybody should read. It's a life lesson right there. Jonathan Livingston Seagull. The other one was The Illusionist. I forget the author. I think
I haven't read that. Don't know that.
And then the other one was shoot, it was the same author.
As my friend. And I will send me your friggin' email address again, and I'll give you a courtesy email copy of my first novel. And I finished the second one yesterday, and I'll send you the fucking word copy so you can read it and tell me. You say, hey, am I fucking just blowing chunks, or I'm just?
I appreciate it.
I think I wrote a good book. I think I wrote a really cool book, a great story, and it's a glimpse into the unseen. And I'm leading into, in book 3, what I absolutely did, and it hit me yesterday. I just knocked it. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the fucking SSP. This is fucking SSP. And I wrote, and I sat down, and I wrote, and it was brilliant. And so there's the Dark Fleet element that the ambassador is serving. And that's the element of that power that we haven't seen. And the whole perceived element in my story is between the Dracos and the Scytherans and humans. But it's bigger than that. It's a lot bigger than that. I'm really fucking proud of my book, man.
You should be. It's your baby, you know?
And I'm glad I know where I'm going with book 3.
I like the idea that it brings this concept to the general public. I mean, even though it's wrapped in the tale of a novel, it's still, like you said, it's still bringing that idea out there. It's still bringing, like you said, the exposure.
I don't have a followership. I'm not going to get fucking rich off of this by any means. But it's kind of fun with a few that will read it and will share it. In this third element, when I finally actually get this summation. But dude, it took me 5 years to write the first novel, 5 years to write the second, and I just getting it going to bed. And now I'm starting on a third. But the whole third element is going to be a lot of the SSP. and the control that this outside element has. And that is the true final battle. Because what I've led up to in my story is, it's like, okay, the last war commences. The final battle. The final battle. It's something I put through in my tale as the culmination of what man has to accomplish to be ready for this great feat. And I put that, and now it's coming out of the rise, and I have the outside elements, and I fucking got it. and I was really worried about it, but I think it's like, okay, cool, I got it now, because it's going to just take one battle perceived and bring on a bigger battle.
Always many layers to all this stuff.
Hey, we're recording this. Don't tell my fans.
Excuse me. Right. That's one of the things that I think is amazing, is that the more we look at stuff, the picture just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, that's all that's really going on. It's just we have to broaden our horizons to what's possible.
The scary part for me is looking at this reality. And man, I tell you what, right now I'm looking at a beautiful lake and a sunset that's going down and spring, but it's just idyllic. It's absolutely beautiful. It really is. And I wonder, is that real? Is this something that's programmed into me? Is this part of this? Okay, this is the game I get to play this time, this go around. This is what I get to see. And having glimpsed in the minds of some pretty wonderful people, I really wonder about the truth of everything.
We should. What are the odds that everybody's been telling you the truth? What are the odds?
You're sitting in friggin' beautiful ass Alaska. Still fucking cold. I don't miss that.
It's pretty brisk today. It's only 31 today, even though like.
But you're in Anchorage?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So you're like fucking Jesus. You're candy ass. You're fucking candy ass living in Anchorage. I was real Alaskan living in Palmer and eat wherever and shit.
See how funny this is though? Because wherever I go, I can never win, right? Because I'm from Long Island. So everyone teases me. Everyone teases me that I'm here in the big city, and now I have to hear that Anchorage, Alaska is the big city, and it's not the wilderness. It's so metropolitan because I'm in Anchorage, Alaska.
You're a pussy.
Yeah. No matter what, that's how it works. No matter where you go, you're a pussy for whatever people can think of.
Long Island pussy in a cold place.
I could walk down a dark alley or a dark trail and make it out to the other end. I'll tell you that much.
If I was still in Alaska, I'd be giving you shit because we're we're in the fucking. It's the banana zone. But it's still fucking Alaska, damn it. People don't get that. They just don't get that.
It's a very different world up here.
How majestic it is.
The beauty up here. You go drive around. You exit Anchorage for 20 minutes in any direction, and it's splendor that's like beyond description.
When I first went to Alaska, I was working for Matt Valley Credit Union, and I would have to go way up towards Fairbanks and shit to get contracts, and I'd hit all these little small places all between, and that is when I learned the majesty of Alaska. And I'm driving from Palmer north to Fairbanks in the central part of Alaska, but I'm heading west and then heading back east and making this really circuitous course and all some of these old established villages. And I did that for 2.5 years.
Mm.
That made me see Alaska, man. I know fucking Alaska, bitch.
Yep. It's like it's
And
crazy because it's like every
but
10
it's
miles you're like, how can it be twice as beautiful as it was the last 10 miles?
what I tried to explain it to anybody from the lower 48 that had never been to Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You ever been to Colorado Springs?" Like, yeah. Oh, cool. You seen Pikes Peak? It's like 14,000 feet. Big ass fucking mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? You get to Alaska, and you're driving from friggin' Anchorage up to Fairbanks. You see your Pikes Peak. 1, 2,
Mm-hmm.
3. And going,
On a good clear
there.
day, we can see
Nobody,
Denali from where we are in Anchorage.
376 miles from Anchorage to McKinley, and you can see that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it really is.
You ain't been to Alaska, you suck. Telling all your subscribers now, they just suck. They
There
gotta
you
go
go.
to British Columbia, they gotta go to Canada.
Canada,
I'm gonna change it. Canada. Everybody's gotta go to Canada.
right? That's like me. I used to say like Colorado,
Colorado.
Colorado or something. I was in the grocery store recently. I was losing my skull because the girl at the register was ringing something up for the person in front of me, and she was pointing out how the customer made a smart choice because the avocados were on sale. Avocados. And she kept saying, and she's like, and I love avocados. I have avocados all the time. And I'm so glad that avocados are on sale. And I was like twitching. I was flipping out like I was having like every OCD impulse.
I'm really proud you didn't punch her. I'm really, really proud you didn't punch her. Good on you, man.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like reality is talking to me, and at that point, I'm like, reality, why are you trying to agitate me so much right now?
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell reality is telling us now. It's like, man, I tell you what, I look around and I see the beauty of spring around me, and I'm enjoying this place, my spot by the lake,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm loving life. And yes, I'm unemployed. I'm choosing a fucking job, but as far as life is concerned, I'm like, wow, I dig where I'm at, but I need more, and I've got to produce and da da da. You got to make money and shit, like to eat and stuff. Food is fun and shit.
Well, I guess if the king says we have to wear a mask,
What's the
difference?
what's the motivation in where life is truly at? Where are we sitting, man? What is it that
I was roaming around the store today
what's
myself.
our impetus?
I was roaming around the store today myself, picking up the food that I needed, and I was thinking that oh geez, now I just lost my thought. What were you just saying? I was thinking.
Thinking's cool, dude.
Right. You told me threw me for a loop there because this whole the mask thing drives me bonkers. It amazes me. It amazes me that I go out and I still see everyone just acquiescing. Like everybody just simply has to you don't have to listen. It's that simple. You don't have to listen. I go out all the time. I go to the store. I get the stuff that I need. Everybody looks at me like they want to choke the snots out of me. Oftentimes people do get aggressive. But I make it back to my house in one piece. It's amazing to me the way that the world is right now.
That's so good. It's so good to get groceries and not get killed and shit. That's a good thing.
Right, but think about what's going on. I mean, it's a whole bunch of people doing what the king told them to do, basically.
It's not a fucking crazy ass world, man. The sun is coming up. The sun is going down. and there's some weird shit on the breeze. But fuck.
And it smells like something's rotten in the state of Denmark, I think, is the old catchphrase.
Fuck.
You know?
Dude.
That's basically where I'm at. So it's like, that's why I, in a way, I don't even get bothered with the politics of the day. Because in reality, when you look at the big picture, when you look at SSP being in reality, right? When you just yield to that is part of our reality, we don't need to worry about state level politics anymore. We realize that those are just pawns and puppets to a bigger line of royalty.
When I bring that up on the SSP,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to think about the actual memories that I have and the recall that I have,
Mm-hmm.
and that's slim.
Mm-hmm.
It's views, it's images, it's nothing, and I have this feeling like, oh, okay, well, I have these images. Maybe I'm not part of those guys. And maybe I'm not really part of this shit. And maybe this is all bullshit. But because I'm a cool dude, I'm just going to say, yeah. And that one image, that image that's locked in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that keeps me coming back and saying, listen. And I think that's the strongest way to go forward is.
So in a way, getting back to that whole Occam's razor analogy, it's like you have this image you can't cut off. You can't remove it. You can't say this means nothing.
Right.
Gotcha.
And everything that I know, and it's like it's the entire thing that ties me to the possibility of this. But the aspects of my novel, when I wrote Halcyon's Wake, Faith, the first of a trilogy, it was all taking all the UFO shit that I used to know and love and bring about and put it into a plausible, feasible way where you're right here and right now, and all of a sudden you can like go, "Ooh, fuck, they were right." That's what I did. And I did it well, man. I did. I fucking did it well. And you really, you would do me a service if you would read my fucking novel, asshole.
I
think
I don't want to be a stick in the mud about it.
You're such a busybody, and you're a smart guy and shit. So you're doing all these pursuits. So no, I'm gonna mail you my friggin' novel. So
I wish I could tell you the last year it was where I actually picked up a book and read it.
Actually have a hard copy of it and put it by the shitter, and then I'll give you an excuse to make you fucking read it.
There you go.
And see, and actually see beyond. I kid you not, Eric. Mm-hmm. There's a message within my book about looking, about what we're seeing, about what's coming about the transformation.
10-4. There's some good inside info.
It's good shit, man. It's good shit, dude. You wouldn't be recording me otherwise, my friend.
I think we've spoken before I even knew you were writing books.
I know.
But yeah, no, I always enjoy talking to you, Dale, because you're just a real character. And I appreciate that on this planet, that there's folks that can just still have a conversation, about real topics, get to the meat and potatoes of things.
Stay Rango. Neighbor going by on a golf cart.
Have crazy dogs.
Crisis there.
There you go. Keep the fur levels down. Jeez.
I think this is going to be your favorite YouTube video ever.
We're gonna find out. We'll see if we can get 10. We're gonna get 10 trillion likes on this one.
I know this is just this ain't weed. I just have a weird ass tobacco pipe.
Mhm.
Just so you know.
It's just you just tested the mulch in your yard.
I am, and
It's all good.
Some of that's a little bit wet.
There you go.
Some of that shit's really kind of like, needs a little bit more.
Just watch out for the fungus on the cow patties.
But I love how the fact I just taste that.
That was one of the things that I learned as, I guess, city folk Long Islander growing up through the years and meeting other people was that a lot more farmers were doing mushrooms than I grew up knowing.
So where in Long Island did you grow up, honestly?
Levittown.
It's like
the original like secret government town.
So you're like in the city, and there are buildings and shit. You're not out in the woods and shit.
No. It was developed suburbia. It was officially in the history of our nation. Levittown, Long Island, was the first suburban community built as cookie cutter construction by William Levitt. He took the processes of Ford's automotive industry and applied it to home construction, and he built thousands of homes for the returning World War II vets. It was a government program.
I told you that I had cultivated a friendship with Tom Juno, who's from Long Island as well.
It rings a bell. I remember you were telling me about a particular person. I wonder if it's the same person that we discussed. Another editor, if I remember correctly.
He was the staff writer for GQ and Esquire.
Yes, I remember this conversation.
The guy's the greatest fucking writer on the planet. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's just.
Mm-hmm. Hey, He really
is.
Here's an excellent insight to Levittown, Long Island that most people don't know, and you'll get this. Do you remember the comic strip, The Lockhorns? Do you remember the comic strip, The Lockhorns?
Yeah.
The couple that was always at each other's throats? Yep.
Always at each other's throats. Yes,
yeah.
I totally remember the Lockhorns.
The Lockhorns was a couple. It was based on a couple from Levittown. That was that was depicting life in Levittown. The Lockhorns. Lesser known fact of Long Island.
I tell you what, as a Southern boy, and I'm 11 miles from Arkansas, where I sit right now, and my family and its whole history, very much Southern, and tied to the South. This is Southwest Missouri. This is the redneck motherfuckers. This is fly the rebel flag and play some friggin' Hank Williams Jr. This is where I live. And this is where I'm from. And I'm proud of it. I'm damn proud of it. But the whole substance element is still, it's those elements that we were talking about.
Dale, would you be so kind as to let me pause this for a second?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to hit pause for a second. I'm going to try something. And we are back, folks. We took a quick pause right there because I had somebody show up to the house because I was giving away a TV.
Some weird shit going on, y'all.
So we're back.
It's crazy.
Actually, Dale and I just went up in the spaceship.
I'm like, okay, cool. I'll go ahead and sign the waiver and stay online and shit. But that was kind of freaky, dude.
Oh. Your music's cranking again.
Oh, I'll turn it down.
Thank you, sir.
You hate the music.
I don't hate the music. It's not coming in clear. It doesn't.
That was Katie Lang, man. That was Katie Lang.
Well, it would be great if it sounded like Katie Lang.
It was Katie Lang. She's awesome. I love Katie. She's my favorite Canadian dyke ever.
Oh boy.
Ooh. Fire up the comments in the.
Who's your second favorite?
Second favorite gay woman? Be like, what's her name? The TV show host. Ellen. I like her.
Oh,
that's my second.
I didn't even know she was Canadian.
I I don't think she is. I actually think she's actually American. So, but we'll take her.
She doesn't act like much of an American to me, but that's a whole other
But Katie
episode.
Lang, it was so cool. I on Twitter one time
Mm-hmm.
had actually got to in a conversation with Katie Lang. I was like, "Ooh, I'm cool. I'm touching famous, you know." But oh my god, I love her voice so much, and she got to sing with one of my heroes,
Who's this?
Roy Orbison,
Oh, there you go.
hands down a god of music and love. And I loved Roy. I was like, oh my god, you get to sing with Roy. And she was texting back with me, and it was like being with a high school friend.
Mm-hmm.
And the way she texted me, she was, yeah, it was so freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it was neat. I was stoked about that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a connection with the cool Canadian chick.
Mm-hmm.
And she is cool. She is.
Did you ask if she had any SSP experiences?
Katie Lang, no, I did not. That was well before I knew the SSP.
Mm-hmm. When would you say the SSP came on your radar?
I think it came on my radar in 2017.
Okay.
I'd watched a Dr. Michael Salla interview with Michael Gerlach.
Okay.
And I was intrigued by the concept and said, okay, I'll keep listening.
Mm-hmm.
And it started resonating.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that whole series of interviews, and that led down to going down the friggin' wonderful hole that Alice has wrought.
I think there's so many facts that support the existence of a secret space program. It's just a matter of people wanting to do the research or not. You have folks like Joseph Farrell, who's put out all kinds of information about breakaway civilization information and stuff like that. You know, forget just, full-blown UFO speculation. He's just going with like, hey, there's just a secret aspect of the government that's siphoning money off and has projects going on throughout the cosmos, and they're not telling you.
Farrell's a genius. He really is.
He did a lot of great work.
And he studied more of the Nazis than anybody in the world. Mm-hmm. The guy is the authority on that.
And then you have folks like Michael Schratt who are following the science behind the aerospace
engineering in some ways, but I tell you what, that fucker knows his shit about Germany, hands down. I still spent 13 years there as a kid, and I have an understanding and a mindset.
Well, how about going in that vein? Are you familiar with Annie Jacobson? Are you familiar with the researcher Annie Jacobson and what she's been doing with the OSS and what's been going on in her? She's also well referenced in German history.
Not at all.
She's amazing as well. Annie Jacobson is covering what happened with the OSS personnel and Operation Paperclip to a level that other people have not been diving into.
Where the thriving element is still alive, where the Nazis are still
where that functional. Yeah, it's called the U.S. I mean, they basically brought them over, transitioned right into.
I looked at that so hard, and I saw it transparent. I saw it transparent even as a kid. Even as a kid in the 80s in Germany, I saw the first elements of what that had brought about. I was like, Germans too smart.
They brought all the scientists over. They put them into NASA. Where did we have the lunar module built? Do you remember the company that built the lunar module?
That's the whole joke when it comes to the SSP, and you think about the big shit and the toys. That's what bothers me, man. That's what bothers me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's tons of stuff out there.
Why waste the time of a genius man? My grandfather.
Whose time was wasted?
My grandfather was part of the 104th Infantry Division. Timberwolves. that came into the site just after, right there by Pianamundi, and where all the rockets were being built and shit. And they overtook that. And there's a concentration camp there. And those that work there. That's some of the hardest conversations I've ever had with my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Was about that place and about the people he met there.
Mm-hmm.
What they had done.
Mm-hmm. I'm being presented another aspect of our reality. Folks that are doing research, I don't know if you're familiar with John Warner. He's also an author, and I've had him on my show before. But one of the things that he presented to me that's kind of a new thought for my brain, but it fits in the big picture of things, okay, is that we've been lied to. We've been lied to by the function of war. That what's really going on. The
function of war has always been there's always been a threat. There always has to be something that isolates us, that makes us want to be wary.
For sure.
And that warrants the power and the authority of who holds the reins.
Add this to the list of possibilities.
He who holds the reins, whether that be the UK, whether that be the United States, doesn't matter.
Add this to the list of possibilities. We have for eons been amassing men on the battlefield. What we were told was war was actually just setting them up for delivery to be farmed. Just that simple. And then the families back home are told, your husband died in war. But instead they didn't die in war. They went to a field where war was supposed to happen, but then something took them away. And they are now cattle in some other capacity.
Why do you think everybody in the world and mainstream media wants to make China an enemy?
I say that again. Ask your question again.
Why do you think all the world wants us to make China an obvious enemy?
I don't know that I agree with the presupposition that your question supposes.
I think
you're suggesting that the whole world is trying to make China our enemy, and you're trying to get me to agree with that statement.
No, I don't want you to agree with it.
I don't at all. I don't think the world is trying to make China our enemy. I think China is doing a good enough job on itself to make the world not like its choice of direction.
Good call.
Right? I don't think it's the world's misassessment of China's choices right now.
Well said. But it remains in the pattern.
What's this?
Having an enemy, having an object.
Yes, that is true. We do, as a function of some sort of a program, like to place a carrot or an enemy in front of the population of the U.S. to keep them focused on something to target. And then that way, the mass media, the politicians, the powers that be will always amp up their energy to the point of mob mentality, and then just have them discharge their energy on whatever is the puppet target is they hang in front of them for the day. I mean, sometimes it's school shootings, sometimes it's sickness, sometimes it's the problems at the border. Sometimes we have to be scared that Kim Jong-un's gone crazy in North Korea again, and maybe they just learned out how to make a missile go from North Korea all the way to the U.S. I love when they pull that map out to try to scare everybody. And they're like, it turns out the North Koreans might have figured out how to make a nuclear missile that can go from North Korea all the way to the U.S., and we're so scared, and now you need to be scared too. Yeah, because I guess the North Koreans never figured out that you could take a short-range missile and put it on a boat. I mean, seriously, folks?
They've had that shit for 100 years.
The multitude of ways that we can all kill each other and the amount of submarines that are in the water for short-range attacks is off the wall at this point. And for them to parade around different things to focus your fear on, it shows that we're in a circus, basically. And they like to
trash, man.
They just like
It's
to
all,
light up a different
that's just
ring,
all in
and they go,
trash.
"Now we'd like to draw your attention to ring number 2." Doot, 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 doot. And then they turn the light off in the other ring, and they set the stage up next door. And now everybody focuses. Oh, look what's going on in the Suez Canal. There's a boat in the Suez Canal. Oh, you know why there's a boat? Because they're gonna there's all the hostages. They're gonna free everybody, and you'll see. And then the light goes off on that, and we forget that conversation happened. And then we forget that there was a light on a boat in New York, that it was a medical ship, and we were told that was going to save all of the children when that light was on. But then that light went off, and we don't discuss that light anymore because new lights come on,
Do you
and a
see
new
the
ring
light?
gets lit.
Do you see the light?
Yeah, that's all. That's yep. And nobody wants to hear you
Blues
talking
Brothers,
about.
Blues Brothers, man, Blues Brothers.
Nobody wants to hear you talking about the ring that's not illuminated, because then you're not in. You're not on the in crowd. Heaven forbid we talk about Epstein Island right now, because that's old news, right? Nobody cares about rich people and pedophilia anymore.
I'm a guy that's been with you on the cusp of the inception of curiosity, and I think that the whole reason you and I have even met is just like, okay, the absolute pursuit of truth,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing where the possibilities are, and okay, cool. You've taken the time, and you've looked, and you've dug some shit, and you've seen some shit about where you came from, and in the whole sense too, you've dug deeper in what happened with you, that is something that you and I share. And to wonder now, in the grandeur of spring and the beauty of all that's around us,
New beginnings,
and still see the propensity of a level of control,
mm-hmm.
and an outside element
intended control
that we never understood. And I still have a hard time wrapping my brain around that possibility. And I still need to see a lot of truths that point me to that.
Think about your experience
really
as a Marine.
There has to be a lot more truths to point me towards that.
Think about your time as a Marine, right? When you were a low buck recruit, right?
May 94 to May 98.
Right? So you are basically a compartment. You're a compartment. You're a compartment, right? So you know that you are a part of this thing, but you're certainly not privy to everything that thing is doing. You're a piece of the Marine Corps machine. And the Marine Corps machine was certainly not feeling obligated to tell you what it was up to.
Right. My job was ultimately there, and it was actually very evident the entire time was the Corps. It was stepping up to elements that you weren't qualified for, but just doing it.
But don't you see that, like, similar to how society treats us?
I love my time in the Marines. I really do.
Sure.
I absolutely. I'm very.
But I'm just going to show that there's different levels of knowledge, right? As a low buck Marine, you weren't privy to the big picture at all.
No, not at all.
That's what I'm getting at. So it's the same way. It's the same way in society now. So you're an individual, right? You're this person, and you're trained to go about society and do this level of interaction that you're engaged in. But there's a bigger picture going on that no one's about to inform you on. It's just like in the Marine Corps. There's no difference. So when you're saying, like, you can't wrap your head around how these other things can be going on, I'm just trying to give you a path to that.
Like, okay, how could the leadership? And I look at a gentleman like Terry Lovelace. I don't know if you're familiar with him. I
know of him being a big name.
He was active duty Air Force in the early 70s. He was
he's one of the original whistleblowers.
No.
No?
This is just a guy that has his own account in an abduction scenario.
That
is pretty fucking amazingly profound. And respect his account highly. I absolutely do. He was deputy Attorney General in American Samoa. It's a man of extreme credibility. And his account of what happened to him when he was a junior enlisted man in the Air Force is one of those freaking bizarre and amazing accounts I've ever heard. But it spoke to a level of illusion, communication, contact, and understanding with the active Z Air Force and an unknown entity.
Mm-hmm. This has happened time and time again.
That level of testimony and what he has is, yes, there was constant communication with people not from this fucking world.
That's where we're at today. Everybody, see, we've effectively crossed that bridge because the government has come out and confessed that there's been knowledge of this. So basically, all we really have to do is take everything that the government has said to us about UFOs up until this point and throw it out the window, because they've now admitted that there's stuff from off-world. So that's basically them admitting that they've been lying the whole time. So we don't have to. There's a major paradigm shift that people have to wrap their heads around right now. The government absolutely has been lying about all of this stuff. By changing their position on it, is stating that it's that you can't have it both ways. If they're saying now that they're aware that there are UFOs and that they have been aware of UFOs, that's simultaneously confessing to have lied this entire time. So now when we remove the lies and we just admit to the reality that UFOs are completely real and we've been engaging with them for years, now what do we do with that information?
Government's never been...
That's a given. Now what do we do?
Government has never been easy and open on things they don't know.
Understood.
They don't do that well. They do not like to admit the fact that we don't fucking know. And that shit's been happening since 47 with this element.
Correct. So now what do we do about that? Because you're right.
We understand that. But to acknowledge that Uncle Sam is going, no, we don't acknowledge this, and we're just not going to be a part of this. That's kind of what we're saying.
Another way of looking at it is, in reality, the government admitting that there's UFOs isn't them proving to us that there's UFOs. It's just proving to us that they were liars. Because we've always known UFOs are real. Because it's like the sun is real. If someone wants to lie and say that it's something else, we've always known it was real. It always is real. And then if they want to admit, all right, the sun is real, it's not like them telling us the sun is real. It's just them telling us they were lying the whole time. So that's what's going on with UFOs. It's not that the government's telling us that there are UFOs. There always have been UFOs. The government's just now finally being honest when they come to the table to communicate about it.
The greatest question and the greatest answer that remains to us is asking, what is that? And being able to say, we don't know.
To find that in the question. You said, what is that?
We don't know.
Correct.
That we don't know is the greatest answer
on so many things.
Yep. We don't know. And we don't know. We don't fucking know.
Right.
We really don't, man.
Most of our science is based on stuff that we know to be flawed.
Tell me somebody, tell me anybody that has any authority that can say, yeah, we do know. And there's not. Don't know.
I've worked with a lot of physicists. At some really fancy science facilities. And I'd often ask them this question, or series of questions, I should say. If the speed of light was to change, how would that change our physics? Like, in what way? If the speed of light was to change, how would it change our physics? And they would simply smile and say, in every way.
No shit.
Right. And then
There's
I would
that
say to
point of
them,
what we could do,
well,
what we couldn't
well,
do,
what
everything, man.
controls, what parameters control the maintenance of the speed of light at the rates for which we currently observe it? Because we do know historically the rate has been different. And their answer is, I don't know. And then I would ask them,
when
and,
physicists say they don't know,
right? And
like,
then I would say to them, well, what prevents those parameters from changing right now, and therefore the speed of light increasing or decreasing, and therefore, like you said before, everything being impacted by that rate change? And their answer would be nothing that they could think of. So all of our science is actually based on the speed of light being at a particular rate, at 186,000 miles per second. But in reality, we don't know. We don't know why we observe it at that rate. It used to be at a different rate. It changes. Just because we currently observe it at the rate that it's at right now doesn't mean that it'll be that way forever. And we don't understand the reason why it's at that rate right now necessarily, but we do know that it can change. And when it does change, it'll change everything. That's science, but people don't like talking about that part because that's the science where the next question comes and the only answer is we don't know, because you're at the leading edge of what we know and what we don't know.
Don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. You know? Yeah, you'll never, I'm just a firm believer in the concept of all possibility exists always. And then at that point, you just start dealing with probabilities.
There's a lot to wonder about, and there are a lot of considerations.
Mm-hmm.
And everything I always wondered about is being definitive is open now.
Mm-hmm.
And up to question. And with this whole SSP element, and looking at that and seeing that as a viable option, it's like, no, this is not bullshit. This is not bullshit. These are not fucking LARPers. Looking at Johann Fritz and what he said, and I watch the guy, I do, but it is like being. He can be the authoritative guy. If you were playing D&D, he's the fucking dungeon master. He's got it. He knows the story. He's like, oh, okay, so I play devil's advocate just because I do. I was like, no, because I still don't want to believe the reality it is.
Yeah, I'm challenged with a lot of this stuff too, and it might be.
When I listen to Tony Rodriguez, man, how can you deny any fucking thing that guy's ever said? Ever? He's never contradicted himself. He's never done any bullshit. He's not self-serving. Every fucking thing he says is consistent and about something he remembers. And I believe him. Yeah. I believe him. I do.
I think we have to give people value to their experiences and need to share them more often. I appreciate that folks like Tony have stories that aren't easy to share. So I think it's fantastic that he has. But this is what I'm getting at. Like, lots of times I say that, like 80% of your life is very boring and mundane, and 20% of it is very special to you. I would rather engage you where we discuss your 20% and my 20% instead of the boring 80% that we share. So I feel like as a society, we've been kind of indoctrinated to never discuss our 20%. We all just show up and, hey, how'd your 80% go today? My 80% is doing good and everything is good. Yeah, all the approved topics that fit within the margins, But that's not what really the place is to be.
I think it's just bizarre that we stumble upon a possibility of something that defies what we even know. that's a hard part for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can take in the reality of it, and I can understand it, and I can absolutely ingest that and embrace the realities of what the fuck that is.
Mm-hmm.
How to defy it? Don't have a clue. No fucking clue.
Mm-hmm.
Not one bit. And I think, I honestly think, my friend, I really do. I actually think I was part of a senior element of leadership in the SSB. And I just feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
I feel like I was probably just a plumber up there too.
I'm looking at the sun. I actually think I was kind of high up. I really do, man. I really do. It's not an arrogant thing. It's like, okay, this is what I know, tactical knowledge, blah, 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 awareness. Oh, okay, I might have been a smart guy. But I assume nothing. But I'm looking at this gorgeous sunset.
It's a beautiful thing.
And I'm still seeing the, yeah, you gotta see this. I'll share this. Boom.
Nice. Is that a little houseboat down there or an actual structure?
Structure.
Mm-hmm.
Big ass house. My dad built this place in '96. When he retired from the Air Force.
No, not the place you're in. You just panned over to the lake. That little thing on the water. Is that a boathouse or?
No, that's his little shed.
Okay.
So that's for one of the neighbors' places, but that's the lake, man.
Nice.
And that's where I'm looking at and watching the sun go down.
Excellent.
It's a beautiful thing, brother.
You guys got mosquitoes there? What's your elevation?
It is good. Lots of mosquitoes. Yes, they're healthy as fuck. Not quite as not quite by Alaskan standards by any means, but they're healthy.
How far north did you ever make it up in Alaska?
I went all the way to slope.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
When I was up there, I went up slope.
So you saw the full size mosquitoes.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, people don't get. That's another one that's hard to explain. I've been outside in Alaska, up on the slope, in a sea of mosquitoes that was going by, and
on the slope,
and I'm telling you, I mean, you'll get this, right? I mean, Dale, I'm telling you, I had to lean into the mosquitoes. There's so many coming at me that it was like putting me back. I had to bear down and lean into the mosquito mass coming at me.
I remember going out hunting.
Mm-hmm.
The first year I was there,
up on the slope.
And no, this was down in the Banana Belt. This was still around Anchorage, and we were north of Palmer somewhere.
Moose.
Doing a moose hunt, and the guy that we went to church with was like a BLM guy, and we're in this valley.
Oh,
he just
Bureau of Land Management.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, not Black Lives Matter. It was Bureau of Land Management, not Black Lives Matter.
We were trying to bring in the moose, and they were just cows that were coming in, so there was no good bulls. But it was the first time I'd ever hunted in Alaska. Mm-hmm. And I remember being on a ridge, and I was with all my brothers, both of my younger brothers, my father. And we spotted each other around a ridge. And we were going to hunt anything that came into that element. And I remember so much being a student of the land, and growing up around country and stuff. That first moment with Dad, and he says, okay, how are you going to orient back? And I says, I'll just take them rocks right there and I'll come back. He just grinned and laughed, and he said, look behind you. And it was exactly the same. It was the only landscape I'd ever been in my life that I was absolutely disoriented. That its majesty and everything was around it, I was still very much lost. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know where I was. That was a trip about Alaska.
It took me a little bit to get used to the perspective on things. Being from Long Island, it's a very flat land and nothing that you can see in the distance.
Long Island, friggin' Alaska. Oh my god.
Yep. So
All my explanations are like just fun and shit.
people would tell me, like, they'd be giving me directions to stuff, and they'd be like, "Oh, go to the such and such mountains or this." I'm like, "Which mountains are you talking about?" They're like, "The close ones." I'm like, "How can you tell if a mountain's close or far?" I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
You can see that. Right?
They're all on the horizon.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Which one's the close one? Which one's the far one?
The biggest peak I ever climbed in Alaska was Eagle Peak, and it's right there in the Matt Valley, down low.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going out with a buddy of mine who was a waiter, and he and his brother were Alaska natives. They'd been born and raised there. They climbed McKinley 3 times each.
Yep.
3 fucking times they'd done that each.
There's some crazy Alaskans, you know that.
And while I'm with this guy at the place, he says, "Cool deal, I'll take you out." And this was before I went in the Marines. I was still a dude, you know. I'd never been in the Marine Corps. I'd never been in the Air Force. I hadn't done nothing. And he took me out to Eagle Peak and did a free climb. And he had told me before we went up, on like a safety brief, he said, "Hey, go as far as you think you can go. And then push yourself just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Just a little bit. Not too much. Just a little bit. And rise up there and hit that point. And then when you get to that point, say, hey man, I'm cool. This is it. I'm done." And he'd said that. And I went with him, and he was a hell of a climber. Like I said, McKinley 3 times. Mm-hmm. And I went on Eagle Peak that day, and I almost made the peak. And when I got to that last one where I kind of had to jump and to grab a point and then pull up, and I was like, cool. And I could keep on going, but I was like, no, man, because it was much harder to grab, and it would be a complex climb, and it was getting dark. And I remember just saying, "Nah, man, I'm cool. I'm done." And Jeep told me, his name is fucking Jeep, Geep. He's a teacher in Eagle River, Alaska. Jeep Barano. And he is on the register for having climbed McKinley 3 times. Mm-hmm. But Jeep Barano, the fucker, you should drink a lot of beer with that son bitch. I don't know where I was going.
Oh, no worries. I'm actually, I'm just trying to make notes.
This is going to be a fun broadcast. It's like, hey,
when in your direct firsthand experience, what would you say was one of the first thoughts where you, like when you say there's things that you can't remove from your memory, right? Some of these ideas, when you say like you've experienced things or you've had ideas that you can't,
that are beyond this.
Yeah, that are just, I guess, out of the ordinary. You're 20%. What are the things that are like, you know what? It doesn't make much sense to me, but I can't negate it.
The only one that I have with any persistence, and it's the only element that even lends credence to my thought, mm-hmm. is a view of the Earth, mm-hmm. from orbit.
Okay.
And I see that. Mm-hmm. I see it fixed.
How do you imagine?
I know it like I know the lake right now, and
totally gotcha.
What I see.
I'm trying to put myself in your perspective, right? So I imagine you're looking at the Earth, right? You're above the Earth, but can you?
And it's being suspended in like a suit.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like, how do you now perceive yourself when you're saying like you're looking that way and the Earth is over there, but now try to focus on yourself.
I did when I turned 40. I jumped out of a friggin' plane for high dive shit. I did that shit when I turned 40 on my 40th birthday. Crazy fucking experience. Amazing. But the perspective when the chute popped and we're just hanging there and I'm seeing all of this southwestern desert in a way I've never seen, in an absolutely unlimited element. It was so just like wow. That memory, and the only one that persists for me of something different, is the same view and that same perspective, but of the planet from very, very high up. And that's the one thing. That's the one thing it is. It's the one damn memory that's not supposed to be a memory that I have and I hang on to. Yet I see it. I see the same open world, and I see it in all its visceral elements, like I did when I was doing that jump. And it is so clear to me.
If there is a way to say, like, when you go back to that memory of you being up and looking down at the earth, so to say, is there a way for me to inquire as to where you, like, in the memory, can you say where you feel like your mind was at when you were originally looking at this?
I don't have any conception of that other than the majesty.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And
I can follow that.
That's the only thing that comes to my mind and my memory, and it really is.
That was kind of going. It kind of answers my next question. I was going to say, like, so now if you imagine yourself there looking at this again, how do you feel? And it seems like you have a reverence of the majesty of what you're looking at.
I'd like to explore that. I like that idea, that notion of knowing what that memory is and what that visual is.
But I find that feelings work well. So if you can connect to the feelings at that time.
That is. And I love the fact that you said that. And it's like,
yeah, how does that make you feel, that image?
I felt the awe, and I remember feeling the awe of that, seeing the entire world, the world laid out, and it was just there. It was totally there, man. It was. That's the one memory, other than dreams, that pop in.
And we're all learning that dreams and memories can be synonymous terms.
And I've always been hell. I'm wearing a Millennium Falcon T-shirt. I'm a Star Wars guy. I've always been a science fiction guy, so I'll dream and things like that. But I don't often recall what I dream. I don't.
Do you feel that in your youth, do you think that you had a lot of recurring dreams?
As a young man, I think so. I think there were some power elements. I think there were some dreams that just kept on. It's like, yeah, get the sword, be the guy, be the Viking, that shit. I think there was a lot of that as a kid. I do. But like I said, I don't have a lot of dream recall. I honestly can't. I'd be lying to say, oh yeah, I remember I was badass.
Oh, understood.
Lightsaber. No, I don't. I just really don't. But I think there was a drive. I think there was some impetus in my dreams. I can honestly say that there were elements of my dreams that were pushing me and wanting me to go forward somehow. Did you have that?
Oh yeah, I mean, my dreams were wildly repetitive, so it was very inherent in the presentation that the idea was to go further. I mean, it was almost like a video game in a way. Like you would get to a point and you can go so far, and then you kind of like die and wake up, and then you have to go back in and try again.
On the SSP element, I kind of feel like a bystander instead of a participant, because I don't feel like so much of my imagination has brought to light what fuels my participation and curiosity here is my fucking novel and what I wrote. And when people read that and says, "Oh my God, dude, are you like an SSP guy?" Like, no.
Maybe you just meant to be a dimensional documentarian.
And I think what I've written about and documented, it mirrors too much.
Maybe that's all used for your title, Dale. Dale, dimensional documentarian.
That's the crazy stuff for me. And I was thinking, okay, cool. So the mind wipe was like effective. If that's all going on, if that's the reality, then yes, they fucking really wiped my ass really good.
That's a way that you could look at it too, is that they just functionally wiped you as possible.
And, but I still have to acknowledge the reality of it all. And that it is even the fucking possibility. And that scares the shit out of me, man. It really does. Terrifies the fuck out of me.
Don't sweat it, man. Don't sweat it. The world can't possibly be what you were presented. That's the one way to look at it. I mean, seriously, there's too many power players. There's too many vested interests, right? It goes back to that Marine Corps thing. When you were a low buck Marine, it's not possible for you to actually know the true mission of what the Marine Corps was up to from 94 to 98. You were not privy to that intel. So here you are, a low buck citizen. You're not privy to the intel. You're not privy to the intel of the world around you.
I did get to play some good games with the Corps in 94 and 98.
There you go.
And then, as a luxury, I also served in the Air Force.
That would be the luxury service.
01 to 04 was when I was in the Air Force. I was a loadmaster on C-130s.
That was your Alaska time?
No, I did go to Alaska while I was a loadmaster. But I enlisted in the Corps out of Alaska in 94.
Oh, okay.
I was living in Eagle River then at the time. But I went back in 2004, 10 years later, when I was in the Air Force. And it was really fucking cool.
Probably changed a lot in 10 years.
Yeah, it really friggin' growed up like you friggin' couldn't believe. Eagle River looked like fucking Colorado Springs and shit. It was
Anchorage has a McDonald's and a Burger King now.
Wow.
I'm just teasing. They got everything.
Yeah. There's like 20 Burger Kings in Anchorage.
Actually, there's not that many Burger Kings, believe it or not. There's not. I mean, they have fast food places here, but it's not like everywhere else where there's like 50 of them. You know, there's one on the north side, there's one on the south side if it's a big chain. You know,
Right.
I think there's two Burger Kings. I think there's one on Diamond, there's one on Diamond, and there's one on Northern Lights. To the best of my knowledge, those are the only two that I know of.
Access.
And you know where Diamond and Northern Lights are.
Yeah, I do. It's been a long time, man. Been a long time.
But those are two main drags. One's on the south side, one's on the north side.
And you're right in Anchorage too. You live in Anchorage?
Yep. I'm on the west side near the airport.
I was a Valley guy. I lived in for a time in Eagle River and for a time out in Palmer. And I was in Palmer. My first wife was a teacher at Big Lake. And that's where we stayed. She had a place out in Big Lake. Way out in Big Lake. That's fucking That was back then. That was really fucking in the boonies, dude. There was nothing out there.
I can't imagine, because Big Lake is still the boonies. So if you're going to take 20 years away from Big Lake, I imagine it to be very rural. Like have your gun out when you're walking down someone's driveway.
Our next door neighbor was the reigning champion of the Iditarod.
Oh, nice.
Had all these fucking huskies, and that's who he played cards with and shit.
Was it Martin?
Yeah, Martin Boozer.
Yeah, I know Martin.
Martin Boozer.
Yeah,
you know Martin.
Yeah, I know the exact property that you're talking about. I've done some training out at Boozer's property.
You actually know Martin Boozer?
Yeah, he's a great guy.
We'll tell him fucking Dale Triplett.
Next time I see Martin,
said, hey.
Next time I see Martin, I'll let him know you said hello. It's a big small state up here, Dale. You know that.
I know, brother. That's fucking hilarious, though.
Yeah, Buse has got a great property, and he's a great racer, and he's got great dogs.
And that's where we lived out in Big Lake, and where Johnny was at when we first started dating, or not Johnny, but Cindy, my first wife, Cindy. Sorry, I've been married twice. It's sad, but wonderful legacy.
Oh, good. Just don't call the second one the first one.
No shit.
Yeah, you can go the other direction. That's fine.
Cindy was cool.
Yeah.
Cindy was cool. And so was Johnny. Both of them were fun, cool. I love both my wives. I do. Mm-hmm. I'm just a shitty human.
That's all good, Dale.
That's why I'm not married with him.
Mm-hmm.
10 years with the first one, 10 years with the second. Hey, wasn't fucking bad.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck off. I'm by myself now.
Just gotta do the best that you can.
No
Starting and gunning. Jeez. Well,
this is a different kind of interview. Damn it! I thought this is like Maury Povich and shit.
This is more nitty and gritty. But with that being said, it is getting dark by you, and I do appreciate all the time that you gave me today, and I would love to talk to you again. But these videos, you'd be surprised if they go for too long. It gets exponentially harder to try to process them to upload. You'd be surprised. The difference between an hour and a half and 2 hours on processing could be like an hour or days.
A great conversation, my brother.
Absolutely, Dale. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you again. And we'll keep in touch. Absolutely, it was fantastic, and I hope that everybody can learn from the exchange that we had here today. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments below for myself and Dale. And Dale, if you can shoot me something in an email with your contacts so that I can let everybody know how to get a hold of you and your new book that's coming out, and I'll put that in there so that everybody's going to be well informed to your new work.
I appreciate that, my friend.
Thanks, Dale, and thanks everybody for coming today. Have a great day.
Have a great night. Adios. Woo!